This episode of Warp 5 is brought to you by Audible.com, offering more than 150,000 titles for your smartphone, tablet, or desktop. To get a free audiobook of your choice, visit audibletrial.com/TrekFM. Also, help us keep Star Trek discussion coming to you each day by becoming a Trek FM patron through Patreon. Get access to exclusive content and become part of the team. You'll find all the details at patreon.com/TrekFM. That's patreon.com/TrekFM.
Hi, I'm Anthony Montgomery, Ensign Travis Mayweather on Star Trek Enterprise, and you're listening to Trek FM.
How we doing, Tripp? Ready when you are. Prepare for warp.
Course laid in, sir. Request permission to get underway. Let's go.
Welcome, Boomers, to another episode of Warp 5, Trek FM's dedicated Enterprise show. I'm your host, Floyd Dorsey, and I have with me, once again, the host of Melodic Treks, Brandon-Shea Mutala. Brandon, I gotta say, you might as well just pull up a cot on the bridge here. You are being a great regular guest for Warp 5.
I'm having fun. But I gotta say, I'm glad this is not a video podcast, because I just took a drink of my juice, and I just spilt it, like, all over my shirt. That's not some weird Star Trek joke. I actually spilled half my juice on my shirt, so it smells good over here, though.
That could be, that could have been actually kind of funny, because Kirk, he liked to drink coffee on the bridge in the styrofoam cup, what happened?
Space cup.
Exactly, with the gray, painted gray, and Archer, I don't remember right off if he was ever drinking anything. I know Captain Janeway liked to drink the coffee, but what happens if they hit a bump, and it spills it on you, and you're talking to a dignitary, so you just
interplanetary incident, bombs are flying everywhere. It's terrible.
Kidding, especially with Janeway, because I just see her as cussing like a sailor myself, but not Archer, not Archer.
Well, Cisco's got the Ractogeno, man, that would leave a stain.
Right. Yeah, I could see Hoshi over there doing the editing on Archer, beeping it all out. So, Brandon, you actually had the idea that you wanted to come aboard. You missed an earlier episode of Warp 5 where we had talked about favorite moments. So, tell everybody what we're going to be doing tonight.
Based on our intro, you'd think we'd be talking about beverages in the Warp 5 universe, but we're not.
And laundry detergent, future laundry detergent. Right?
Future laundry detergent.
Right.
I'd like to talk about future gain. No, we're actually going to talk about I totally ripped this idea off from Voyagers to the Journey. So, let's do an episode, top 5. So we're going to do a top 5 Enterprise moments from the whole series, all 7 seasons of Enterprise.
Yeah. We have 7 seasons. There are
in our
7.
head. We wrote like 3 more seasons.
It's forget about the 4 lights thing. We've got 7 seasons. There are 7 seasons.
Oh, 7 seasons.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get going. We'll do a top 5 overall, stretching all the way from Broken Bow all the way to These Are the Voyages. So Brandon,
there's probably not going to be one from These Are the Voyages.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll keep everyone in suspense as long as we can.
We don't know as well. We didn't tell each other our top 5 here.
No.
It's all secret. So I'll go first. So one of my top 5. This is going to be in no particular order, though. I got to say, one of my favorite moments in all of Enterprise, you might have to help me with episode titles, happens in the second episode of the Augments arc in season 4. Okay. When Archer, maybe it's the start of the third one, when Archer blows that gasket or whatever and shoots himself into space and then gets beamed into the ship and he's like all frozen.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. So Cold Station 12 was the second one, and then the Augments was the third episode.
Yeah, I think that was right at the teaser of the third one then.
Yep. Yeah, that was great. Archer sickle for a moment there, Yeah,
it was so, like we hadn't seen anything like that before. We had the one in Broken Bow when he was running and they beamed him, but this to beam him out of space, I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. So it was a pretty original idea.
Yeah, we hadn't got to see that in Star Trek yet. So yeah, that was definitely interesting. I know when I got to that I guessed what was going to happen, but I couldn't wait to see what it looked like. So that's a good choice. For my first choice, I actually went to season 3, and I chose North Star. So yeah, whenever I see season 3, everyone thinks Xindi, 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 but I actually picked thinking of the episode that doesn't really have anything to do with the Xindi. It's just stuck there in the middle as an island in the middle of season 3. But Archer as a cowboy in the saloon, man, that is mixing Western with Star Trek. You can't. That's just hitting all the right spots for me. I mean, that's pushing all the right buttons. That's checking all the right boxes. And then just the way that Archer played that scene with his back to the outlaw guy, and that was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's a interesting episode to throw in the middle of the arc. Like I remember reading, I think it was an interview somewhere, and they had told the writers that they wanted them to write one-shot stories in the middle of this arc, and nobody had done it yet. And so, like, the person that ended up writing this one, he was the first one to come up with a solo story in it, right? So they went with it for this Xindi arc.
I like it. The callback to the original series where they meet up at the OK Corral or partial OK Corral. Yeah, I really liked it. So, and we'll actually be talking about that specifically when we get to the season 3 retrospective. So what's your next choice, Brandon?
Okay, this might be an odd one, but 0 Hour. Right at the end of 0 Hour, when that alien Nazi comes out from underneath the light and you see this gray skin and these red eyes. I remember watching that live the first time, and I'm like, what the heck just happened? So I don't mind the way they started off season 4 that much with Stormfront. Like, it's weird, but that cliffhanger definitely had me going for the summer. I'm like, what now? Where are they taking this? This is crazy.
Yeah, that was nice. And it kind of, if any of our listeners are Doctor Who fans, that kind of reminded me of Doctor Who. Doctor Who episode. He opens the door and where are they? And it was a surprise. It definitely caught me by surprise, that's for sure.
I'm not much for Doctor Who. I tried watching Doctor Who, and maybe I did it wrong, right? But I downloaded all of them from the beginning, and I was trying to watch from the first Doctor, right?
You mean like series 1, like black and white series 1?
Yeah.
Oh no, I started at number 9. Is
that like
the modern reboot or the modern restart? And
the first one with the Eccleston is his name?
Yep. And
is that a good place to start?
Yeah. I mean, I went through season 1. I barely got through it, but boy, when I got to season 2, it was all about it. But we're talking about Enterprise, and this is an Enterprise show, and we'll talk about that on that Doctor Who show that we probably will do later. So yeah, my next choice is actually when the Romulan ship appears in Minefield. That was
nice.
Awesome. The design of the Romulan ship was so slick. That is so cool. And the way it shimmered when it came back in. And we actually discussed on a previous Warp 5 how maybe that might not have been cloaking technology. It could have actually been the holographic technology that they were using in the season 4 United Einar the Babel 1 arc, basically. So, yeah, man, that ship has got some nice curves on it, I got to say.
Romulan ship's got some nice curves.
Yep.
So, it looked very traditional. I guess traditional is not the word I'm looking for. It looked very honoring the original series design of the Birds of Prey, with the green color and whatnot, and the way that the wings were upswept. It looked a lot like what you saw in Balance of Terror, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's such a cool episode. I like that one a lot. Okay, my third choice here. I'm going to have to go with, I'm pretty sure it's from Damage here. So, right at the end, that final shot, it's either from Damage or it's from Azadi Prime, but it's like that last shot of the episode when the Enterprise is just like beaten all to heck, and it's just floating away. Right, just the way that shot is, I think that's one of the best ends of an episode in the whole run of the show.
Well, some boomers might be listening to this thinking that was like a worse moment, like that's a crying moment, a sad moment. You know, we're seeing our ship is completely torn to pieces here. But I get what you're saying, because it was actually cool, and you're sitting there thinking, how in the world are they ever going to get out of this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's going to happen next? We got how many episodes left in this season-long arc, and this ship is just floating wreck.
Like, it is so broken, the reset button is broken. You know, like, you can't even press the reset button and fix this thing in an instant. So,
you know what else is broken on it? The bow. It's got a broken bow.
Oh, yeah. Nice call out on that. But my next episode... My next favorite moment is the opening to Similitude. So, little bit of a shock when you see the funeral of what appears to be Tripp Tucker. So, spoilers on that for you boomers that haven't seen season 3. You need to hurry and get on that season 3. But when the camera pans and we see Tucker in the torpedo tube. Or the torpedo coffin, I guess. I'm not sure what we would call it. The hull. That was shocking. And then you're going to see, like, I can't remember how much farther back it goes, or if it even tells you if it goes back. But it's one of those, like, 2 weeks before, or something like that. And boy, that was a shocking moment for me.
Do you think it would have worked? The episode would have worked as well had they not done that teaser?
I thought it was very interesting. I mean, that's a hook for sure, because Tripp at that time, he's looking like a favorite character. I mean, people liked that character, and I gotta say, I didn't know when I was watching it the first time. I was watching it completely blind. I was watching it on Netflix, but I didn't look up anything. I didn't look to see how things turned out or anything. So it was a shock to me. I was watching it just like it was on first run.
Yeah, I don't know that it would have worked as well had they not done it as that teaser. I normally don't like that type of storytelling where they're like, oh, and 2 weeks earlier it happened. Like, they did that in that second or third episode of season 3 as well, when the episode just starts with, like, T'Pol screaming and whatnot.
Oh,
and
right.
In other shows as well. Like, I don't know that I really like that type of storytelling trope where it's this happened and then here's the crazy, shocking climax of the episode. Now let's go back and tell you what happened.
How did we get there? Right.
How did we get there? Yeah. I'm not sure that I'm a big fan of that, but I think it does work in Similitude very, very well. Okay. Number 4 for me. In a Mirror Darkly Part 1, when those main titles come in. Right? When they decided to switch up those main titles, man, I'm like, yes, they are having fun with it, and I love it. So, like, just the way that they shot and those strafing runs of the ship blowing stuff up, and they have, like, what do they have, like, that United Earth flag that they put on, or whatever it was, like the bad guy flag, and
right.
Cannons going off on these ships and everything. I don't know, it was perfect. They were totally having a good time with it, and they didn't care.
Right. And also it reminded me of Bread and Circuses. It's from an original series where they were at the Roman planet, and they were doing the TV, and they had the ads, and they had the special event, on the television. And that's kind of what that reminded me of. It's like they're bragging about all the stuff they've been doing, and then the flag the banner ends up coming down on the screen, and I agree. That was pretty awesome. I have to rewind that sometimes when I'm going through a rewatch just to watch the opening scene to that.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so priceless.
And the music's awesome too. Yeah, that's great.
Dennis McCarthy and Kevin Kiner.
Yep. So I actually we did a season 1 favorite moments a few months ago, and I've got to come back to it. I know everybody probably knows what I'm going to say. It was Strange New World, the campfire scene, with Mayweather telling the ghost story and them actually camping out under the stars, looking back at Earth, and our solar system being a distant star in the sky. I thought that was so cool and just opened up so many imaginations. Of course, later on, after the campfire scene, we get the spore situation, and that's not so cool. So I just like to think about the campfire scene on that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, you were mentioning that's your favorite episode of Enterprise when we did the commentary there for Broken Bow. You'd mentioned that's your favorite because it reminds you of your family and your grandparents, you were saying?
Yep. And that campfire scene and just being in the woods, man, that was exactly what I did. I pretended like I was on an alien planet, and it had a lot of woods, and it looked a lot like southeastern Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Not too far from Broken Bow, actually.
Right on. Where are you living right now?
I live in Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
When I'm not on board the Enterprise, I have my home port is Dallas.
Okay, you ready for number 5?
Number 5. All right, what you got?
So this one, it's tough to try and narrow it down to this one from this episode, but because I love the episode so much. But I think everybody knows out there that I'm going to pick future tense. But there's so many great moments in this episode for me because this is my favorite. But I think the first time that we hear the Tholian voice is probably my favorite part of that episode. That scratchy, weird sound. And then the way that the voice comes in and it's just like Jonathan Archer, and like just the way that it talks, the way that the universal translator or whatever it is kind of working, and I don't know, I love it because it sounds so cool.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, getting to see Tholians and then later in that you get to see the ships. Oh man, and they're looking like a wolf pack after they've attacked the Vulcan cruiser, and they turn and they head toward them. Oh man, that was so cool. Yep. That episode actually has a lot of good moments, but
but I can only pick one. Why can't this be top 5 moments from future tense? Let's scratch this and just do top 5 moments.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do
top
that.
5 future tense moments.
Yeah, we'll come back. We did a commentary. We might as well just go. We'll do the highlight reel of future tense.
This will be. There's I was searching online and there's a podcast out there that spends like 20 or 30 minutes on like small sections of Star Trek 2. So they've done like 60 episodes just on Star Trek 2. I can't remember the name of it. I was searching it. I'm just like, that's crazy.
Wow. I like that movie, but wow, that would I don't want to watch it too closely. I'll pick it apart too much. I need to stand back from it a little bit.
So starting next week, we're going to do part 1 of 60 on future tense. We're going to do a 60-part episode of analyzing this.
Yeah, there we go. So my 5th pick is from season 4, and I have to say, just thinking about season 4, there are so many moments that I could choose out of season 4, but if I was going to choose one, it would be from the Inner Mirror Darkly, and it would be where the Constitution class ship is flying next to the NX-01. That is awesome. Like that's some get down off of the couch, get closer to the TV so you can make sure you're seeing this just right moment. So what do you think about that?
I need that shot in like 9 million p. What are they? 9 million p resolution.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it is so sweet. Yeah. To see the Constitution class right there with the NX-01, oh man, that's a thing of beauty. That's some good stuff.
I'm surprised with how many I picked from the later season. Like all of them here are basically from season 3 and 4.
Right. I tried to mix mine up a little bit. I could have gushed about First Flight, which we talked a bit about a couple of episodes ago. Just anytime Carradine throws a shot back, or just comes in and gives Archer a hard time, that's a good moment. Shran, just anytime, Shran's all the way through the whole series. Just pick one out for Shran. I can tell you that's a good moment.
So those your runners up then?
Yeah. You can just throw a dart at it. Anything you hit with Shran on it, that's a good moment.
That's a good runner up. I gotta say, for a runner up, I'd probably throw in there. I'm my episode titles, and which ones are which with Enterprise, I'm not as good as. I've seen them all a couple of times, but I'm just not as good with them. I think it's from Divergence. Is that the one where Tripp's gone over to the Columbia? Is that Affliction and Divergence? That's not Demons and Terra Prime that he's on that, is it?
No, I'm looking, and I believe you're right. So
yeah,
are you gonna say the part where he goes from? Yeah.
When he goes from the one ship to the other.
Yeah.
It's the shot of the two ships, like the one upside down underneath it. Like, it's so cheesy, but it's so cool, Like, it's I don't know. I don't know why I like it so much, but it's a cool shot. So that's my runner-up, I think.
Very good. That's a good one. Yeah. Don't look down. Don't look sideways. Just look straight down that line and keep going, man.
Excellent. Right on.
Very good. So, did you, that's your,
That's my list. That's my top 5 moments. So just as a refresher here, so my top 5 moments from Star Trek Enterprise is the Archer frozen transport from Cold Station 12, I think it is. The red-eyed Nazis coming into the light from 0 Hour. The damaged ship in Azadi Prime right at the very end. The main titles from In a Mirror Darkly. And the first time we hear the Tholian voices in the episode Future Tense. And did you write yours down? Because I got them written down here.
Yes, I've got it. I've got Archer as a cowboy, bellied up to the bar in North Star. I've got the Romulan ship appearing in Minefield.
Such a good shot.
The sacrifice of Sim in Similitude. The campfire scene in Strange New Worlds. And the original Constitution class flying right next to the NX-01 in a Mirror Darkly series. So,
you're a better fan than I am. You got something from every season there.
I cheated. I tried. I actually tried that. Very good. So, talking favorite moments of Enterprise is not the only thing we've been talking about here on Trek FM. So here's what else you may have missed elsewhere on the network.
Previously on Trek.fm, Standard Orbit.
Don't watch any of the extras on the first disc because they're all duplicated over the second disc. So then that way you can just watch them in order and not have to worry about, let me skip this one because I watched it on the first disc and do all that.
Wait, to clarify, they have all the special features in column A on one disc, and then all the special features of column A plus column B on a second disc?
That is correct.
That makes no sense to me at all.
I know, I was very confused when I sat down to watch it.
Melodic Treks.
Matter? I bury nowhere. Oh, it's painful. I don't know. You snowing me? You snowing me?
Painful's just saying remix and blah, blah. I felt myself falling asleep. I felt like it was my parents were telling me a good night story where you were giving me that track listings there that...
Does it still McFly?
That's one of my favorite ones.
Stage 9, a podcast about the people who make Star Trek.
Within about 15 seconds, you texted me back, Dr. Giggles, we have to do Dr. Giggles. And my question for you is,
yes,
why did we absolutely have to do Dr. Giggles?
Saturday Morning Trek.
And all these things just brought in more and more people who thought they were alone, and they found each other, and they made their clubs, and then they made conventions, and that's what the 70s were about, was getting Star Trek back and finding each other.
And that's what else is happening on Trek.fm.
Check out these shows and find out what we're talking about in your favorite corner of the Star Trek universe. You can find us on iTunes, TuneIn, or anywhere you get your podcasts. And if you visit our website at Trek.fm, you can grab the RSS link or download the MP3 file. And if you're an Apple user, please hit that subscribe button. That helps us out greatly in visibility. And also, while you're there, leave us a rating and a star review. Another way you can help us keep all of our shows coming to you each week is become a patron of the network on Patreon. If you visit patreon.com/trekfm, that's patreon.com/trekfm, you can find all of our current goals and milestone contribution levels. We are a listener-supported network, so every little bit helps. You can get it in on the ground floor and do a $1 a month, and that would help us so much. You can do $5 a month and get access to the Patron Zone. And if you bump it up to $15 a month, you actually get access to the Patrons Roundtable. And
I just want to say there before we go too far. So I've been working hard at getting that Patron Zone up and running again good. So we've been trying to add some exclusive content onto there and some deleted scenes and things like that. We're trying to get episodes up early for people. And I know that we haven't in the past, but we've got the roundtables and they're starting to get released with frequency now as well. And the roundtable is a fun way. Either Aaron Harvey or myself will be hosting once a month a roundtable where we pick a generic topic and we just have a podcast discussion just like Floyd and I are having right now. And then we release it in the feed. And so you're on your very own podcast. And it's a lot of fun. And we have a lot of different topics. We've talked about the episodes, the movies. We did a commentary for the Man Trap. For the 50th anniversary there, so that was a lot of fun, and that'll be by the time this is dropped, it'll be in the master feed, and so we're trucking along, and we're trying to get that bonus content for our patrons, who we appreciate greatly.
Yep, and we thank you so much, all patrons and all listeners of Trek FM. And if you can help us out, we sure would appreciate it. You can find all the details at patreon.com/TrekFM. And if you want to wear your Trek FM fandom, you can find great Trek FM themed merchandise at the trekfm.store. I know birthdays and holidays come around, and you want to slip that gift list to your significant other or family member. So remember the Trek FM store, and you can show everyone that you are a Trek FM listener and a fan of. Maybe we can get a Warp 5 t-shirt on there. I wouldn't mind having that. I've got a Warp 5 mug, so I need to get a t-shirt for sure.
Can I get one that has like my top 5 moments from Future Tense on it?
Nice. I know what you want. You want the Connie with the NX-01 picture. That's the one you want. On a big blanket.
Which one?
The one with the Constitution class with the NX-01 next to each other, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, there you go. A high def picture of it on a blanket. There you go. So, yeah, if you'd like to get in touch with us here at Trek FM, you can always find us on trek.fm/contact. Look on the show sidebar on the show page, or you can go to speakpipe.com/trekfm. You can also contact us through Twitter at TrekFM, Facebook at facebook.com/TrekFM, or you can find us in the Babel Conference. Type the Babel Conference, BABEL, into the search field on Facebook, or go to our website at trek.fm and click discussion on the menu bar. So, thank you again, Brandon, for this topic. I know you wanted to talk some favorite moments here. You missed out on the season 1 favorite moments, but we'll circle back around to some of these, I'm sure, as we keep going through the show.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome. I had a good time.
So if anyone wants to come in and talk to you about alternate openings to series or TV shows, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, my preferred method of communication is Tholian. So if you could just squeal at me, that would be great. You can squeal at me on the Babel Conference. Every once in a while, I poke my head up. You can find me on Twitter at Brandon-Shea, and you can find me here on the network with new episodes of Melodic Treks. And Floyd, where can people find you when you're not camping out with your family in Broken Bow?
Or on another planet, looking back, wondering where Broken Bow is. Yeah, you can actually find me in the Babel Conference, the Trek FM listeners page on Facebook. That's definitely the best place to find me is Facebook. And I pop my head in there every once in a while, and I surely love getting in on those great Star Trek conversations. So, Boomers, thank you again for listening, and join us again next time for another episode of Warp 5.